Hi, and welcome to the Haverhill Journal, where we give you a look each week at what's going on in our city. I'm Lindsay Paris, and since summer's here, we're getting into the spirit by taking a look back at a classic way to spend a summer evening in the Merrimack Valley and seeing firsthand some of the significant work done by rebuilding together. But first, Winnekenni Castle holds a special place in residents' hearts as one of Haverhill's favorite crown jewels. Long-awaited improvements are planned to the castle and its grounds later this year, thanks in part to one very generous donation. In the first piece of a two-part series, Tom Sullivan, otherwise known as Mr. Winnekenni, met up with the Journal to tell us more about the work going on up there this summer.
Hi, I'm Tom Sullivan. I'm a member of the Board of Directors here at Winnekenni on the Foundation. I'm also a Haverhill City Councilor. I'm also a member of the Forest Management Committee in this park and throughout the parks and forests in the city of Haverhill. Welcome to Winnekenni Castle and Winnekenni Park. So there are a lot of exciting improvements coming to the Winnekenni Castle and to the Winnekenni Park, and I'm here to let you know what some of that is today and hope that it will get people motivated and excited to join with us to make these improvements a reality. First, our annual planting took place this weekend. 6 or 7 volunteers came up and planted all the garden beds around the castle. It makes a big difference to have these plantings all around the castle. They weren't always here. We've probably had them for the last 10 years or so. For whatever reasons, nobody thought of that idea of improving the grounds will lead to improvements inside. So let's go inside and take a look. This castle was built in 1873, completed in 1875 by Dr. Nichols and his family. This was their summer home. And after his family passed on, the property passed on to the city of Haverhill right around 1910 or so. Ever since then, it's been quite a story here at Winnekenni. The structure has burnt to the ground twice. In the 60s, there were no windows. It was basically a shell. And Whittier Votech and the Winnekenni Foundation got together. Winnekenni Foundation was created back in 1968, I believe. And over that period of time, a number of significant improvements have been made to the castle. We have a fairly new roof. The roof was put in probably about 10 years ago now. We also have 47 new windows, brand new windows, which brighten the place up, make it look great. And we're pleased to announce that this year we are going to be replacing the floor on the first level where we are right now. And we're going to be replacing the carpet upstairs, which is in badly need of replacement. We'll be painting the walls, hopefully a different color, and we'll be sealing up some more leaks. As you know, we just became the beneficiaries of a trust, the Dorothy McLennan Trust, and Dorothy was a Haverhill native who fell in love with the castle and the park as a little girl. She remembered an elk that was at this park at the time. She had her picture taken with the elk. She kept that picture by her bedside all her life up until her last days. She donated a replacement elk a few years back, which we will go take a look at momentarily. And as a result of that donation, she decided that she would leave the remainder of her estate to the Winnekenni Foundation. So why don't we go take a look at that elk that led to the very generous gift. So here we are at the elk on the lawn at Winnekenni. This elk is a replacement elk. There was another elk in the park. Wasn't located right at this spot, but she liked this spot. We are about to launch a landscaping improvement project over at this site. We need to better protect the elk. The elk currently has a damaged antler. Dorothy came up and saw that that was missing, and she was quite upset. And she told the trustee that if nothing else, money was to be used to restore that elk. So the trustee is currently in the process of finding a sculptor. The elk is made of a bronze material mix, and first they needed to match that mix, then they need to match that mold for that antler. So it's quite a job. In an effort to protect the elk in the future, this area will be redesigned so that there will be more protection around the elk, and there may even be a small wrought iron type fence around the elk. And there will be park benches located over here in this area. And there will be another landscaped area just beyond this area that we're at right now. So we look forward to that project. Noonan's is designing it for us, and we should have the designs any day, and hopefully we'll be seeing this done before the fall as well.
Part 2 of our Winnekenni series will cover more of the improvements planned for the carriage house and outbuildings. So watch for it on the next journal, premiering on July 10th. Summer is here, and for some folks, it brings back memories of warm nights spent sitting out in the open air, eating popcorn and catching a flick at the drive-in. In their heyday in the early 60s, there were over 80 drive-in theaters in Massachusetts, and the Journal visited the very spots where a few local theaters once stood to see if we could find any remaining relics of the drive-in years.
It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack. And now, on with the show.
Remember those long, lazy summer evenings spent at your local drive-in? Most of the drive-ins have been shut for decades, but at one time in the early 1960s, there were 4 drive-ins within 15 miles of Haverhill, including this one here on Route 125 in Plastow. The first drive-in, or auto theater as they were known at the time, opened in 1933 in New Jersey. America's 14th drive-in and the first in the Merrimack Valley was the Lowe's Merrimack Park Auto Theater on Route 110 in Methuen. Our enthusiasm to bring you the best shots knows no bounds here at the Haverhill Journal. We just traipsed through 200 feet of overgrowth to bring you this dilapidated old fence here, which was once part of one of the oldest drive-in theaters in the country.
I can remember coming down to the Methuen drive-in. My aunt used to pick us up 15, 20 kids in a station wagon, put us in our pajamas, and have the back of the station wagon down and sitting there just watching the movies.
We used to come here when I was in high school, and it was the Merrimack Park Drive-In. There was swamps around here along the river, and there was always 1,000 mosquitoes, so we'd always say, I'll meet you at the Mosquito's Nest Drive-In, and then we all knew that it was the Merrimack Park Drive-In.
Haverhill's first and only auto theater, the Riverview Drive-In on Bank Street, opened on May 21st, 1948, featuring a double-header of Dark Mirror with Olivia de Havilland and the Michigan Kid. How many of you remember hiding in your best friend's trunk to get into the old Riverview Drive-In theater? The entrance was right behind me here on the old Route 110, what's now known as Bank Street, and it's hard to imagine that what was once a home of family entertainment and teenage hijinks is now a car dealership.
I started working at the Riverview Drive-In when I was 16 years old. It was a summer job. Everybody got a clean white apron at the beginning of the night. And my first day I worked there, I was covered in orange soda. I had Coke syrup all over my legs. It was just a great place. It was a lot of fun for people. It didn't cost a lot of money. You could bring your family.
According to Ripley's Believe It or Not, this area was once part of the world's longest curved road span. But when 495 came through in the early 60s, this road became impassable, probably shortening the life of the Riverview Drive-In.
For your enjoyment, there's hot, fresh popcorn, tempting, delicious hot dogs, and so many kinds of ice cream. And of course, sparkling, delicious, ice-cold Coca-Cola for everybody at the refreshment counter now.
Salisbury's Highway Drive-In was a popular stop for folks making their way home from the beach on Route 110. I'm standing here on the site of the former Highway Drive-In on Route 110 here in Salisbury. As you can see, the theater is long gone. They're actually building a cinema pub here where we're standing, and there's still a movie theater presence behind me at the Vision Max Cinemas, which is owned by the son of the owner of both the Highway Drive-In here and the Riverview Drive-In down in Haverhill.
It was great memories, wonderful people. You got to see everybody you ever knew in high school, in college, and anybody you ever knew from Haverhill.
There was a lot of families, and not just families going to the drive-ins. You know, you made it an event, and you don't see that today. People rush in, grab stuff, sit down, watch it for an hour, take off, go their separate ways.
Between the mosquitoes and bad sound and the glare of the headlights, admittedly, it may not be the highest quality way to see a movie, but the drive-in experience is one that thousands of Merrimack Valley residents will never forget. If you've never been, there are drive-ins still open in Wellfleet, Mendon, and Milford, New Hampshire. So take your family and have an unforgettable summer evening. Really cool visiting all those old spots. Riverview, Highway, Merrimack Park, and Plastow drive-ins. Gone, but never forgotten. The 4th of July is only a few days away, and to celebrate, The city will be hosting its annual 4th of July fireworks and festivities Thursday, July 3rd at Riverside Stadium. Come listen to the Good Times DJ starting at 6 p.m., Haverhill Idol's Katie Amaro at 6:45, and the B Street Bombers from 7 to 9, with food vendors and more. Fireworks are scheduled for 9 p.m., and if rain does threaten that evening, the fireworks rain date is July 5th. Rebuilding Together Greater Haverhill is known for the valuable work they do, rehabilitating homes for elderly and low-income residents across the region. Last week, with the help of over 30 volunteers from Phillips and Andover, Rebuilding Together made a local woman's dream come true. Dozens of volunteers recently spent a sunny Thursday helping Lori Bogrit of Bradford, who struggles with a genetic kidney disease, rebuild her gazebo, landscape her yard, and make her more comfortable in her own home.
Well, I wanted to fix the house up, and it's not cheap to fix it up, and it needs it. So she contacted these people, and they came out and did it all for her.
We were very fortunate to get a special grant from the Phillips North America Corporation, and we worked with them last year. We did 6 homes last year, and they approached us because their office is in Andover and we're the closest affiliate, and they approached us this year. And so we had to go look at the homes that we had applications for and see what would be a good fit. And this house came up as being a good fit and to keep quite a few people busy for the day.
A good friend of mine who is a local contractor as well kind of saw a big need for those that couldn't really, renovate their own homes. They didn't have the financial wherewithal. At the time, it was mostly elderly that, were living on fixed incomes, but over the years it's turned into, working families, working poor families. And so there's a great need out there for home renovation that people just can't afford to do, either physically or financially can't do it. So it just turned out to be something that the community really embraced. And for 22 years, we've been doing anywhere between 15 and 30 houses every year.
Our mission is to help people, low income, people with disabilities, the elderly and veterans stay safe and secure in their homes. And as part of that, we do the National Rebuilding Together Day, which is the last Saturday in April. And this year, we had so many applicants. I think we worked on 12 homes that day. And we just didn't have the funding to come and do Laurie's house. So when Phillips contacted us through our national office, it was a no-brainer. We could put their people to work and use the money that they were bringing, $15,000, to do the roof, do some plumbing repairs, also some electrical repairs, and all the outside yard work, that Laurie hasn't been able to do over the years due to her, medical condition. The volunteers are actually employees of Phillips Medical. They're out of the Andover branch, and this is the second year that we've had a collaboration with them. Last year we did 6 homes down in the Riverside area, and we worked at St. John's Church as well. They brought 120 volunteers last year. This year it was a little bit smaller because of the scope. They brought 34 volunteers, and it's part of the Phillips Cares initiative. So these folks all came ready to work and ready to get dirty, and it was a great day.
Laurie was really excited about them coming, and doing all this for her. I mean, she appreciates it big time.
If you would like more information on how to get involved or to apply for help, contact Rebuilding Together at rtogether@verizon.net. The Calvary Baptist Church would like to invite the public to attend the Reverend Dr. Gregory E. Thomas 2014 Music Institute, an evening of spirit-filled gospel music sung by the CBC Choir, Saturday, June 28th at 6:30 p.m. The annual Music Institute is celebrating its 25th year at CBC and was renamed in 2012 to honor Reverend Thomas's many years of service. Calvary Baptist Church is located at 13 Ashland Street in Haverhill. For more information, contact Walter Medley at 603-275-2753. If you have a story or event you'd like to see featured on the Haverhill Journal, call us at 978-372-8070 or email info@mediahc.org. And don't forget to visit us on Facebook or at our YouTube channel, HCTV Haverhill. For the summer, the Journal will be moving to a bi-weekly schedule, so watch for us every other Thursday. We'll be returning to our weekly show in September. I'm Lindsay Paris, and we'll see you next time.